Hi, this is Jim with BusinessSense.com. Thank you for watching my channel today. I very much appreciate it. I am in Leander, Texas today because a couple months ago I purchased a house and it is fully built. But I wanted to show you some of the houses here that are not yet built out. It's a neighborhood that it's kind of a nice neighborhood. I'm seeing it as a place where I could live and also as an investment. So it seems to be the perfect type of setup here. You can see the neighborhood that it's basically half lived in and half being under construction. And I'm going to walk down the street here and show you my house that I purchased and let you know what I think of it. I've been living there for about 2 weeks now, but it's a great house. It's a reasonable price. Came from Texas to California. Or from California to Texas. So the buildings, some of them are still under construction here, as you can see. I ordered my house about 6 months ago, and happy to live there right now. I've been living there for about 2 weeks. Haven't really moved in with furniture or anything else like that yet. But just been living there, trying to look at the business community to see if I could get the business up and running here in Texas. Join me in the house and we can talk about some of the features, some of the reasons why I'm investing in Texas and not California. So this is the house. It's a really nice house. It's small. Wanted a small house. Did not want a big house. I have a big house in California. But I wanted a smaller house in Texas. It's really nice. I mean, it's everything that I need, everything else. Now, I paid around $275,000 for this house. And with the interest rates being so low here in March 2021, it just seemed to make sense to me to invest in real estate. I've always been investing in real estate. I found that out years ago that was a good investment for me. It fit my personality. And at the same time, it was better to invest in real estate than in the stock market. I don't want to spend every day looking at the stock market's ups and downs and stuff like that. But I don't mind long-term real estate investing. Messy counter, yes. It's because I'm putting in videos and correcting some of the really poor cabling job that the cable company did. It's just sloppy. I mean, you look at that outlet and it's just like, can you put in one that's more crooked than that? Possibly. I don't think so. But if you notice, I got cameras all over the place, and the garage is remotely handled. The thermostat is remotely handled, and everything else. It's just, it's just a really nice house, besides the really bad cabling job. And most people, I'm sure, wouldn't even notice because they're not cablers. But I have to redo this cabling job, and I'll do a video on recabling this house correctly, not the way they did it. Master is back there, and yes, it is a mess back there too. So we won't be going back there. But the idea is I spent $175,000 for a house here in Texas that in reality anywhere else would have cost, or not anywhere else, but in California, Southern California, it was going to cost twice or three times as much as this house. So it's a 3-bedroom house. I always like 3-bedroom houses, 2-car garage, 2 or 2.5 bath. I found them in my investment strategy to be the best. Now, why in the world would an IT guy invest in real estate? Why not just put more money back into your business? Well, that's really wise. That's true. But what my wife and I have done over the years is we decided, as we saved money up and we put it in the bank, and we got a substantial amount in the bank at the time. This was 15, 20 years ago. And we said, it's not really doing anything in the bank. It's not really worth doing anything or keeping it in the bank with a 1% interest rate or less. I don't know what it is these days. Banks just hold money for me until I can get enough for a down payment to buy a house. But I learned that 15, 20 years ago when I was paying all this rent on 3 locations throughout Southern California for my business. So I had a big warehouse. I had 2 offices. I was dispatching out of 2 locations. It just did not make a lot of sense to me to pay all that rent when I can actually own the property. So I started buying property. And something, it's really worked out well for me. So Ray Kroc once said, he was the founder of, if you don't know, of McDonald's. So Ray Kroc once said, and he's the founder of McDonald's, when he would ask people, he would say to them, what do you think? What business do you think I'm in? And of course they would say, well, Ray, you're in the hamburger business. And he would say, no, I am not in the hamburger business. I am in the real estate business. So he owns all those properties, already owned, he's gone now. but he invested in real estate because he saw that as even more profitable than hamburgers. So that's what I've been doing. Not because I followed Ray, because I didn't even know back then that he was discussing about real estate and things like that. But real estate just seems to be a great way for future investments. It goes up and down. Yeah, I understand, but I'm not going to sell tomorrow. I'm probably never going to sell. Just collect rent for the rest of my life off of some of these properties, and that's enough to have a nice, comfortable retirement. Now, I'm talking about leaving California, but I'm also talking about some other things too. The business climate in California. Now, just to go back a little bit, I'm not leaving California completely. I have family members there and everything else, and I don't plan leaving California completely. What I plan to do is always have a presence in California, but not a business presence. Just because of the hassles of taxes and regulations and all sorts of things that are out there. This is completely ridiculous to try to run a business in California, and it's not always been that way. It's just recently, in the last maybe 10 years or 15 years, that it's actually been that way. And but 20 years ago, 30 years ago, it was fantastic having a business in California. I mean, the climate's great, and I love the climate. I love the location. I live in San Diego County. It's probably one of the most beautiful counties in the country. The weather is fantastic. It really doesn't get cold in the winter, and it really doesn't get that hot in the summer to where you're sweating like crazy. There's some days that are that way, but there's not a lot of humidity, and there's no bugs. That's one thing I found out about Texas. There's a lot of bugs in Texas, but that's why you have screens. And there's a lot of humidity in Florida, but that's why you have air conditioning. So I've learned my lesson in a lot of ways, that each portion of the country is different and has different climates, different opportunities, things like that. But it's gotten to a point to where I just feel like when I'm talking about California, when I'm trying to run a business in California, it's almost impossible. Yeah, I had to get that door closed because there's people out there trying to make a living, and it's making a lot of noise, so I had to stop it and close the front door. But anyway, getting back to California. California is a wonderful place to live, but it's not a wonderful place to start a business. And the reason why I say that is from my experience. California has a lot of regulations, a lot of taxes. I mean, they're talking about a 16% income tax on residents. So you got to pay federal income tax, and now you got to pay state income tax. And that's a lot of money. And right now I think it's 12, 13%, but it's going to go up to 16%. And you look at gasoline. As a business owner, I had over 10 trucks. I looked at gasoline right now in March of 2021 in California. It's around $5 a gallon. At the same time, when I'm here in Texas, the gasoline is less than $2.50 a gallon, and in some cases even around $2 a gallon. So when you're running 10 trucks every single day, going all over the place and putting thousands of miles on your vehicle each day, well, then the problem comes is that you just really can't, it's just the expense is higher, and it just costs more to live in Southern California. And the thing that bothered me also was the fact that it not only costs more to live in Southern California, but how about my employees? I got the higher worker comp, I got the higher unemployment insurance, I got higher taxes, I got a ton of regulations that don't make sense. It made sense to someone that never owned a business and they're in Sacramento, but it doesn't make sense for a business owner. Well, I also had to pay employees, and someone had a lot of really good employees before I sold my business, and I really like these people. They did a good job for me and everything else, but I could not pay them what it takes to live in Southern California, to buy a house. It's like a war on middle class in Southern California, or in all California. Just some of the silly regulations that they constantly have. It's just ridiculous. It's absolutely, positively ridiculous. So I sold my business. I have some other businesses, websites, and as a lot of people know, I own CableSupply.com. I still own Nova Voice and Data Systems, even though it's just a shell company right now. I'm going to try to start it up again in Texas. But CableSupply.com, I do online sales, and I do these type of videos that help people, and Google sends me a check every month, and I'm thankful for that. But I need to be a resident of Texas to realize the savings of being a resident of Texas. No income tax. And when these expenses are less, what happens is it's just better for the employee because the employee does not have to, he or she has to pay the taxes. And the houses are expensive. As I already said, $275,000 for this house would have cost twice that or more in Southern California. And, the utilities are higher, extremely high. Where here they're very inexpensive. You hardly see any solar cells on the roof because the cost of utilities and things like that. So as a businessman, it's not wise running a business in Southern California. For me, it's not wise. Maybe you can figure it out. Maybe if you're Google, you can get all the extra perks or stuff like that. I know all the big businesses like it in there, but the small businesses are getting hammered in California, especially with COVID right now. They're getting hammered all over the place. It doesn't seem like there's a lot of people that really care about the fact that they're getting hammered all over the place. But the bottom line is Southern California is a wonderful place to visit, and it is great. I mean, you can go to the ocean. And you can go to skiing at the same day. I hear people say it all the time. I never did those two together in one day. I haven't skied in years. And to tell you the truth, the ocean is cold. It's not like Florida where the water is warm. But it's still a beautiful place. It's still a great place to be, palm trees and stuff like that. And again, I'm not leaving California as much as I am going to Texas. So eventually becoming a Texas resident and then starting my businesses here in Texas And when I'm done with that, then I don't have to pay California taxes, and I can always go back to visit family members, which is really the reason why I really want to remain, at least have a presence in California. But think it through. It may not be the place for you. And again, this is Jim with Business Sense podcast. So thank you for joining me today. I do appreciate it and hope you're having a wonderful day.